The truth about anxiety and ADHD that no one really talks about, but really should. If you've been living with anxiety and ADHD, you already know what it feels like. The constant overthinking, another system that just won't shut off, and panic over small things that feel huge, and those wild swings between I can do everything to I can't do anything. But here's the truth that hardly anyone, even therapists, talk about. Your anxiety isn't a separate issue from your ADHD. It's your ADHD brain trying to survive in a world that wasn't really built for it. And once you truly understand that, everything changes. And that's why I find that having an ADHD diagnosis is quite useful. Because anxiety isn't random. It's a response to repeated failure, fear, and overwhelm. And if you've got ADHD, you've spent years, maybe even decades, being told you're too much, or you're not trying hard enough, or why can't you just focus? Why are you so lazy? Why are you always so emotional? And so on and so on and so on. So what happens? You start overcompensating. You overthink everything. You become hyper aware of how people might perceive you. And you are constantly scanning for rejection, criticism, or danger before it happens. And that creates something called rejection sensitivity dysphoria, or RSD for short. And that's not just anxiety. That's your brain saying, well, I've been here before. I know what it's like to mess up, to be judged, to fall behind. So I'm going to prevent that from happening at all cost. So RSD isn't irrational, it's protective. It's not separate, it's woven in how your brain learns to function. So basically, the real problem isn't just the anxiety, it's the shame underneath it. You've built your entire adult life around avoiding more criticism, failure, and rejection. So you might become a people pleaser. You might become a social chameleon or a perfectionist. And you are still plagued with that damn imposter syndrome. And that pressure, that constant push to keep it all together, well, that's where your anxiety lives. That's why you can't just breathe through it, although it helps, but it's not enough. That's why logic doesn't help. And that's why therapy sometimes leaves you aware of your pain, but you're still stuck in it. Because the root isn't just anxiety, it's a lived experience of constantly feeling not enough. And here the aha moment. You're not broken, you are exhausted, aren't you? You spent your entire life managing systems, feelings, and failures that most people don't even notice. And your anxiety is not a flaw. It's a symptom of trying to survive in a world that punishes your natural wiring. So, of course, you're anxious. Of course, you overthink. And of course, you always feel on the verge of a burnout all the time. You're not weak, you're adaptive. But adaptation is not the same as healing. So, what needs to happen? Well, you don't need another planner. You don't need to just remove all the distractions. You don't need another app that promises to organize your brain for you. You need to unhook from the fear and shame that got wired into your nervous system. You need to create safety, not in your schedule, but in your own body. Some people say that we shouldn't put on more labels. And yeah, I get it. But using the label ADHD allows us to get rid of all the labels that were put on us before. That we are lazy and unreliable, we're too much, we're distracted, we're stupid, we're naughty, disorganized, etc., etc. So you need to let go of that programming that makes you believe again and again and again that you are faulty or broken. That's what I do. That's what hypnotherapy makes possible. Because when your brain finally understands that you are safe, accepted, and capable, not just intellectually, but deep down, well, you stop spiraling, you stop masking, and you stop running. And then you start living calmer, clearer, more confident. So this isn't about managing symptoms. It's about letting go of all the negativity that's been piled on top of you. So give me a shout to discuss how I can best help you with that. Because the moment you stop fighting your brain and you start working with it is a moment that everything begins to change. Thank you for watching.